Hi, I'm Megan Doberstein, founder of Ignite MedTech, where we help MedTech and health tech startups gain commercial success faster with less guesswork and with strategies that actually move the adoption needle. I've spent over a decade launching MedTech devices at big strategics, and now I work with early stage teams who want the same level of strategic leadership without the cost of a full-time executive. So today I'm sharing a presentation that's become one of my favorite topics because it blends two worlds I love, this precision of med tech and then the creativity of consumer goods. In this session, we'll explore what companies like Apple and Tesla do to create massive buzz in the market and how you can adapt these strategies for your own regulated, very trust-driven launches here in MedTech. So when you think of MedTech launches, we often think probably about conferences and peer-to-peer papers and training workshops. And then in the consumer side, we think about lines around the block waiting for an iPhone. We think big creative ads. So here's the thing. While MedTech can't really copy all that tech flash, there are a lot of things that we can take out of the consumer tech world that we can apply to MedTech launches. So let's get into the presentation. So consumer tech has mastered one thing that MedTech really struggles with. It's really making people care before they ever touch the product, right? So think about it. iPhone sells out before the first review hits. Tesla had people paying and buying 18 months ahead of time. In MedTech, early buzz can mean faster adoption, more investor confidence, and stronger KOL support. But it requires more than just showing up at a conference with a booth, right? It takes a lot of dedication, and here's how we can do that better in MedTech. So really what that means is faster adoption curves if we nail this, stronger emotional connections with our customers, clearer product selling story, and then a proven playbook for buzz. So Apple doesn't start a keynote with processor speed, they start with the problem, right? And so Dyson does the same thing. They don't really lead with motor speed. They lead with the fact that your vacuum loses suction after like a month after you purchased it. In MedTech, we often lead with features like catheter diameter, material type, software compatibility. So instead, we should lead with the story, the problem for patients, the frustration for clinics, and how your product really changes the outcome. So stories make adoption personal. Data makes it credible. You need both, but the story comes first. So lesson number one is story-driven marketing. Okay, lesson number two. Tesla didn't just sell cars, they built a charging network before they had mass adoption. Make it super easy for customers to say yes. In MedTech, the equivalent is your KOL networks, your clinician training programs, your service support, right? So if you wait until after launch to start building these, you'll stall adoption. Your launch plan should include the infrastructure that makes saying yes easy for your first customers. Right, so building this KOL network ahead of time, developing like exceptional training often provided by other physicians, and then providing this robust service support. The way to do this if you're a startup is to start really small, right? We talked about this last month. So how do we start really small and we develop these really detailed training programs and help build a community first. So this is really about building that ecosystem that trusts you before you start building a massive launch. Lesson number three is obsess over your customer experience. So Amazon wins not because they have the most products, but because they make it easy to buy, right? In MedTech, customer experience isn't about packaging or your brochure. It's about onboarding, training, and support. If your device takes 2 hours to set up, cut it down, right? If your onboarding takes 3 in-person visits, make it possible for 1 virtual plus like maybe a 1 in-person visit. Listen, clinicians are busy, patients are even more impatient, so make it easy for them and they'll choose you every time. Lesson number 4, when a new iPhone launches, people are lined up in the rain, right? There's energy, urgency, and a feel of being part of a moment. MedTech can't have that hype lines outside hospitals, but you can create the moment, right? Live demo surgeries, streamed to conference audiences, coordinated press releases on LinkedIn, and posts from KOLs, a countdown to the first patient treated, and even like a launch day party inside your company, to really feel like it's an event, right, on the calendar and not necessarily like a day that we arbitrarily picked to launch our product. So really, what does that look like? That means live clinical demos, first patient countdown type of promotion, an internal hype kit for all of your teammates, and then a real launch event. If that's at a conference or if that's virtually, you can be creative here on that aspect. So the key here is adaptation. We operate in a regulated industry where there's no wild claims, no gimmicks, but you can borrow the principles of storytelling, ecosystem building, customer experience, and launch energy. If you build these into your commercial plan early, you'll stand out in a sea of lookalike product booths and technical brochures, so you can do something a little bit different to highlight your unique product. So where do we go from here? Here's my challenge to you. You pick one of these 4 strategies and you bake it into your next launch. It really doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to create connection, trust, and excitement. Because in MedTech, adoption only moves at the speed of trust, and companies who learn this up front and how to create this win faster than any of the other companies out there. All right, so if you need help executing this strategy, you know where to find me. But until then, I will talk to you guys next month in the next presentation. Thanks a lot. Bye.